You make a decision and then almost immediately a voice inside starts questioning it, wondering if you made the wrong choice. It feels exhausting to constantly second-guess yourself, but the path to trusting yourself more might be simpler than you think. This video is about learning how to trust yourself more when that inner critic keeps showing up. In a world full of endless options and opinions, this struggle can drain your energy and leave you stuck in small decisions every day. When you start to trust yourself more, you can feel a quiet sense of relief and move forward with less mental noise. The key isn't to silence that doubting voice completely, but to understand a simple truth about how it works. We are going to walk through this step by step so you can build trust in your own judgment in a calm and practical way. So let's start with the first thing that often gets in the way. Trusting yourself more is about feeling a sense of inner certainty when you make decisions. It matters because second-guessing every choice can drain your energy and steal your peace. In simple terms, it means you stop treating every small decision like a life or death test. A practical example is choosing what to wear in the morning without trying on 3 different outfits. A lot of people think self-trust means never being wrong, but that's a misunderstanding. The real relief comes when you realize you can be wrong and still be okay. The key takeaway here is that self-trust is a skill you can build, not a personality trait you're stuck with. Let's explore why this matters so much for your everyday well-being. When you keep second-guessing yourself, your mind stays in a loop of doubt that wears you down. This matters because that loop raises your stress levels and makes simple tasks feel exhausting. Self-trust acts like a calm anchor, letting you move forward without constant mental friction. Practically, it means you save time and mental energy on things like rereading emails or replaying conversations. The common trap is believing that more analysis will give you certainty, but it usually just feeds the doubt. The benefit of building self-trust is a quieter mind and more room for what actually matters. A simple takeaway is that your well-being improves when you stop outsourcing your decisions to fear. Now let's look at what life feels like when this trust is missing. Without self-trust, you often feel stuck in a fog of indecision, even over small everyday choices. This affects your confidence because each moment of hesitation tells your brain you can't handle things. A typical sign is asking for reassurance from others before you commit to anything, big or small. You might even avoid making decisions altogether, hoping the problem will just disappear. The honest truth is that this pattern often leads to regret later, because you never chose what you truly wanted. Recognizing this pattern can bring relief because you finally see where the problem starts. The takeaway is that chronic second-guessing is a habit, not a permanent flaw. Next, we'll uncover the common habits and blocks that keep this pattern alive. If this idea of trusting yourself more really hit home, I'd love to hear about it. What's one situation where you often second-guess yourself the most? You can share your thought in the comments below. No pressure, just whatever comes to mind. Reading other people's experiences can also help you feel less alone in the struggle. While you're here, go ahead and hit the like button if this topic felt useful to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next video on building more self-trust. I'll be right here with more simple, grounded ideas to help you along the way. Thanks for being part of this conversation. One of the biggest blockers is the belief that you need to be absolutely sure before acting. This pattern shows up as overthinking, making lists, or researching every possible outcome. Another common habit is constantly comparing your choices to what others would do. People often fall into the trap of waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. The misunderstanding here is that certainty feels safe, but it actually keeps you stuck in doubt. The insight is that these habits are protective, but they end up limiting your growth. A practical takeaway is to notice when you start hunting for external approval and pause. Let's shift focus now to the first mindset change that can break this cycle. The first mindset shift is to accept that you don't need full clarity to make a good decision. This matters because waiting for clarity keeps you frozen, while action builds confidence. In simple terms, you switch from "I need to be sure" to "I can handle whatever happens." Practically, this means giving yourself permission to choose based on your best guess right now. The common pitfall is thinking that trusting yourself requires never feeling doubt again, which isn't possible. The relief here is that you can feel uncertain and still act with trust in your own judgment. A simple takeaway is to remind yourself that you are capable of adapting after a decision. Now that you have the mindset, let's move to the first practical step to start building trust. The first practical step is to pick one small decision each day and commit to it without revisiting. This works because it trains your brain to stop the cycle of endless second-guessing. A good example is deciding which route to take on your walk or what time to start a task. The key is to make the choice and then refuse to think about it again for the rest of the day. You might feel a little uncomfortable at first, and that is completely normal and expected. The benefit is that each small success builds a sense of reliability in your own judgment. The takeaway is to start very small, even with things that feel trivial, so the habit sticks. Once this becomes natural, you can gradually apply it to bigger decisions in your life. So let's paint a picture of what trusting yourself actually looks like during a regular Tuesday. This matters because most of us think confidence is this big dramatic thing, but it's really just small moments strung together. Imagine you're about to send an email at work and instead of rewriting it 5 times, you just hit send after one quick check. Or picture yourself at a store picking out a gift for a friend, and you go with your first instinct instead of second guessing for 10 minutes. The truth is, trusting yourself doesn't mean you never feel unsure. It means you act anyway, even when that little doubt shows up. You'll notice that these small decisions start to feel lighter, and you spend less mental energy on things that don't really matter. The key is to look for those tiny moments in your day where you can practice making a choice and sticking with it. And once you start noticing those moments, you can build on them in a really natural way. One simple habit that can help is what I like to call the first thought rule. This works because it trains your brain to trust your initial instinct instead of letting doubt pile on. Here's how it works. When you have a small decision to make, like what to wear or which route to take, you commit to your very first thought. You don't allow yourself to go back and forth. You just pick that first option and move forward with it. A realistic truth here is that you might pick wrong sometimes, and that's actually part of the process, not a failure. The benefit is that you start proving to yourself that you can survive imperfect choices, which builds real trust over time. Try this for just one decision each day, maybe something as simple as choosing a podcast to listen to, and see how it feels. From there, you can slowly expand this habit into bigger areas of your life. If you're looking for more gentle guidance on trusting yourself and quieting that inner critic, there's a place for that. Head over to www.happylifetribe.com, where you'll find practical ideas and real-life encouragement. The content there is all about building a calmer, more intentional life without pressure or perfection. You'll find articles, short exercises, and simple prompts that fit into your everyday routine. It's designed for people like you who want to grow at their own pace, with kindness. Whether you're working on self-trust, stress relief, or just finding more ease, the site can be a helpful companion. No hype, no big promises, just honest support for the small steps that matter. Stop by anytime you need a quiet reminder that you're on the right path. A mistake I see a lot is people trying to trust themselves by ignoring all their doubts completely. This is a problem because doubt isn't your enemy. It's actually a signal that you care about the outcome. When you pretend doubt doesn't exist, you end up suppressing it, and it comes back stronger later. Instead of pushing doubt away, try acknowledging it with a simple phrase like, "I hear you, but I'm going anyway." The pitfall here is thinking that trusting yourself means being 100% sure, when really it means acting despite the uncertainty. The relief comes when you realize you don't have to silence your inner critic, you just have to stop letting it drive. So the takeaway is to let doubt be a passenger in the car, not the one holding the steering wheel. This shift in mindset will make the whole process feel a lot less forced and a lot more natural. If this all sounds like a lot, let me show you how to make it feel realistic and not like another chore on your to-do list. The reason it can feel overwhelming is that we try to change everything at once, which never works for anyone. Instead, think of trusting yourself like building a muscle. You start with the smallest weight and add more over time. Pick one area of your life where the stakes are low, like deciding what to watch on TV or which coffee order to get. A realistic truth is that you might still feel anxious at first, and that's okay because anxiety and trust can coexist. The helpful insight here is that you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be a little bit braver than yesterday. So give yourself permission to start small and let the process be messy and imperfect. Once you see that small steps actually work, the bigger changes will not feel so scary anymore. As you start trusting yourself more, you'll notice some quiet but powerful shifts in how you feel inside. The biggest change is that the constant mental chatter of second guessing begins to fade into the background. You'll find yourself making decisions faster and spending less time replaying them in your head afterward. There's also a sense of relief that comes from not carrying the weight of every single choice like it's life or death. A realistic truth is that you will not suddenly become fearless, but you will become more comfortable with being uncertain. The emotional benefit is a growing sense of steadiness, like you're standing on more solid ground even when things are unclear. You might even notice that you feel prouder of yourself for simply making a choice and sticking with it. This inner shift is what makes the whole journey worth it, and it sets you up for the next step. Life gets hectic, and it's easy to fall back into old habits of second guessing when you're stressed or tired. The key to keeping momentum is to make your practice so simple that you can do it even on your worst days. For example, when you're rushing in the morning, just commit to one decision without overthinking it, like grabbing the first jacket you see. A common trap is thinking you need to be in a calm state to trust yourself, but actually, busy times are the best training ground. The truth is that consistency matters more than perfection, so even a tiny win counts on a chaotic day. The benefit of practicing during busy times is that it builds resilience, so your trust muscle gets stronger under pressure. So when life gets loud, just remind yourself that one small choice made with confidence is still progress. And as we move into the next part, we'll talk about how to handle those moments when you slip up and doubt creeps back in. Over time, trusting yourself more starts to feel less like a choice and more like a natural response. This shift matters because it slowly changes how you move through ordinary moments without constant mental resistance. You might notice you pause less before saying yes to something that feels right for you. Small decisions, like which route to take or how to spend a free hour, become smoother and less draining. The old habit of questioning every move can still linger in the background, but it loses its volume. What you gain is a quiet sense of relief, like a background noise you didn't realize was there finally fading away. The takeaway here is that consistency, not perfection, is what makes this new way of being feel real. But even with this progress, a realistic challenge can still show up and test your footing. You don't have to figure out self-trust all on your own. There's a whole community of people working on the same thing. By subscribing to Happy Life Tribe, you join a space where we learn together, gently and without judgment. You'll also find us at www.happylifetribe.com, where you can connect with others who care about living with more peace and intention. Sharing your journey, even quietly, can make the path feel lighter. It's okay to be where you are right now, and it's okay to reach out for support. This is a place where small wins are celebrated and doubts are met with understanding. So, if you'd like to walk alongside people who get it, consider subscribing or visiting the site. You're not alone in this. Welcome to the tribe. A realistic challenge is that a stressful day or a harsh comment can trigger the old urge to second-guess everything again. This happens because your brain has spent years building those doubting habits, and they don't vanish overnight. For example, you might make a confident choice in the morning, only to feel shaky about it by evening. That wobble can feel like failure, but it is actually just the natural ebb and flow of building a new skill. The pitfall is expecting yourself to never slip, which sets you up for disappointment and more doubt. The helpful insight is that this slip does not erase the progress you have already made. You can acknowledge the setback, breathe through it, and keep moving without harsh self-criticism. Knowing how to recover from these moments is what truly strengthens your trust in yourself. When you notice yourself slipping back into doubt, the first step is to pause and name what is happening without judgment. You can simply say to yourself, I am second-guessing right now, which breaks the automatic loop. This matters because naming the pattern pulls you out of being lost inside it and into observing it instead. Then, take one small action that you already know feels right, even if it feels uncomfortable. The realistic truth is that recovery does not require a big overhaul, just a single grounded choice in this moment. Over time, this recovery becomes faster and less dramatic, like finding your balance after a small stumble. The benefit is that each recovery teaches your brain that doubt is not permanent and you can return to trust. This process naturally leads to understanding who this entire approach helps the most. This topic helps anyone who has ever felt stuck in their own head after making a decision, no matter how small. It is especially valuable for people who lean toward overthinking or who were raised to value external approval over their own instincts. If you find yourself researching, asking others, or replaying choices long after they are made, this shift is built for you. It also helps highly sensitive or perfectionistic people who want to trust themselves but feel burdened by fear of being wrong. The realistic challenge for this group is that their high standards can make them resist starting without certainty. The relief comes from realizing that trusting yourself is not about being right every time, but about moving forward with your own clarity. This practice is not limited to a specific age, background, or personality. It is something every human can slowly build. With that understanding, you are ready to put together a simple action plan to begin this today. Start today by picking one small decision you usually overthink, like what to wear or when to run an errand. This matters because starting small reduces the pressure and allows you to practice without a heavy stakes. Make that choice quickly, within a few seconds, and then do not revisit it for the rest of the day. If doubt creeps in later, gently remind yourself that you are just practicing and the outcome does not define you. The realistic truth is that you might feel a little uneasy at first, and that is completely okay. The benefit is that each small win builds a tiny deposit into your trust account, making the next decision easier. You can also write down one moment today when your gut feeling was right, just to reinforce the pattern. This simple plan sets the stage for a lasting change, which is exactly what the final encouragement will help you hold on to. As this video comes to a close, remember that trusting yourself is not about having all the answers or never feeling doubt again. It is about learning to move forward even when uncertainty is present, and that is a skill worth practicing for a lifetime. The change is worth it because it frees up mental energy for the things that truly matter to you. You stop spending hours in the loop of what if and start spending that time on real living and real connection. The challenges you face along the way are not signs of failure. They are proof that you are growing a new muscle. Every time you choose yourself, even in the smallest way, you are telling your own mind that you are someone worth listening to. You already have the wisdom inside you, and now you are learning to trust that it is enough. Go easy on yourself, keep practicing, and let this quiet trust become your steady guide. As we wrap up, I hope you feel a little more permission to trust yourself even when the doubts creep in. Start small. Maybe notice one moment today where you listen to your own inner voice. That practice, done gently over time, can make a real difference in how you move through your day. If this video helped you feel seen or offered a useful perspective, please give it a like and consider subscribing to Happy Life Tribe. For more encouragement, practical ideas, and a supportive space to build a calmer life, visit www.happylifetribe.com. There you'll find resources to keep you company as you learn to trust your own steps. You don't have to figure everything out at once, just one small act of trust at a time. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.